Hey everybody, I was just going to mix up a shake and I had this idea to give you a visual about the macronutrients in your body. So if you're like me, I like something visual, so if I can show it to you here, you're going to get a good understanding about what's happening in your body. So macronutrients, I wrote an article on it about the basics of them a couple weeks ago, so if you read that, this is going to be that'll be a good precursor to what I'm going to show you here. So you have 3 macronutrients in your body. You got your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. So that's what we're going to talk about here. As I mentioned in what I wrote, your protein is the building blocks of your body. So think about your muscle tissue, your skin, your hair, everything that is basically like a solid structure in your body, that's built out of protein. So if we look at this cup, your body is essentially then a container, right? So I thought, well, here's a container. We got the shaker cup. All the solid parts of this cup, that's your protein molecules. So there's the protein in our system. Now second, we have carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are your primary source of fuel. So they're the easiest thing to put in and get energy back out of right away. Your body's always going to go to carbohydrates first before anything else. You don't need oxygen to free it up. A long, complex situation. I'll tell you about it at another time or another article. But I'm just going to go through the basics here. So to get carb, you think now about, well, we've got our container, we've got our solid portion of our body. Now the fluids that go in it, your carbohydrate, you can think of as gas in your car. So if you need to move around somewhere in your vehicle, if it's on empty, you're not going anywhere. So you go, you fill up the gas tank, put fuel in there. Same idea with carbs. So now we're going to eat something, put some carbohydrates in there. So that's going to be our water. So we're going to start filling up our system with carbohydrate. So now we've got, you can hear the water in there. So now we have a carb in here. Pretty easy to put it in. We saw I just poured it in and then pretty easy to get it out. All you have to do is move around, daily activities. Go to the gym, you're going to burn off even more. Now the one people have a harder time understanding is fat. So fat does a lot of things in your body, but we're going to talk about it as a fuel source today. So I'm going to use ice as fat. So now, fat, it's solid in your system. So we're going to think of this ice as the fat cells stored in your body. So now if your body were to ever run out of carbohydrate as a fuel, you can use fat as a backup fuel. So now we got ice in there, right? So the ice is representative of the fat in your body. We're going to add some fuel. So our fuel is the carbohydrate, and the container is our protein. So now we got all 3 of those macronutrients, and you kind of understand how they work in your body. So now we go to work out. We're moving around, we're pushing weights, doing weight training, and you're slowly depleting your body of your carbohydrate. So you're pouring it out. Now, it's not too hard to get it out. Remember when we put it in with the tap, it's pretty easy to put it in. We all know that. We eat a ton of carb all the time. So it's pretty easy to put in there. Most of it's pretty delicious, especially with Halloween just happening here. So you understand what I'm saying. Easy to put in, pretty easy to get the carb out. Now, we have an issue though. Carbohydrate's gone, but we can still hear that fat in there. We still got that solid fat in there. How do we get that out? Well, there's one main way to do it, and we're going to heat up the system. So basically, now heating it up, this is representative of doing a cardio workout. So whenever people are, what should I do to burn fat? Well, get in this heart rate zone, keep your heart rate up this high, go for this long. Essentially what you're doing is you're heating up your body. So you want to get it warm, you want to be going, and you're going to free up more oxygen. So you need oxygen. When you're lifting weights, you push hard, you need that fuel right away. That's where your carbohydrates come in. If you start doing a longer, more endurance type cardio session, now your body's heating up, you have lots of oxygen coming in, that's when you're going to start to free up the fat. So think of it as, if I really get warmed up and I do this for a while, I'm going to start to burn fat. So now we pull our system back out, and now we still have fat in there. I can still hear a bit, but did we free any up? Well, look at that. We're starting to get the fat out of our system. We're using it as a fuel now, and we're getting it out of the system. Now the more you keep heating this up, the more you're going to keep pulling fat from the system. And that's a good little basic analogy for how your fuel systems work. You can only get fuel out of carbs and fats. Well, you can off protein too, but you never want to break this container down. So once you have it, you don't really want to go through breaking it down to use that as a fuel. So you're going to use carbs and you're going to use fats. Hopefully that gives you a quick little analogy on that. All right, you guys have a good day. We'll see you later.